And for more on the Hanoi summit and what we can expect from here and out, Dr. Bong Young-shik from the Yonsei Institute for North Korean Studies joins us in the studio today. So good to see you.
Well, pleased to be here.
All right, so let's start with what we heard from the Korean Central News Agency on Friday. It said the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump have agreed to continue to discuss significant improvements in bilateral relations during their Hanoi summit, and that the leaders saw their second summit as a good chance to boost their mutual trust and also upgrade their relations, adding that they actually promised to meet again for future discussions. So what can we make of this report?
It might be quite unnatural of the media of North Korea to have such a soft and conciliatory tone. But there are two main purposes of taking this very soft position by North Korean government. One is that time does not favor North Korea. North Korean economy has been under harsh sanctions and it keeps bleeding. That is the main reason why Kim Jong-un wanted to talk about lifting economic sanctions, not other issues such as opening Ri Yong-ho office or declaration of official end of the Korean War. So sanction works and North Korea is out of time. And North Korea is out of time in terms of Trump administration's first term will be ending in 2020.
Right.
If there will be a new leadership in Washington, D.C., then North Korea's strategy to deal with the United States may have to go back to square one. So North Korea needs to keep the door open for the United States to resume dialogue and negotiations.
All right.
And as I mentioned, the sanction hurts. So lifting economic sanctions would require resuming dialogue and negotiations with Washington as soon as possible.
All right. Now, what's interesting, though, is that this KCNA reporting about the summit kind of doesn't go hand in hand with North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho's midnight press conference, which actually contradicted some of Trump's claims on the summit. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, it's not really in direct opposition to KCNA's report in terms of North Korean government offering, explanations about its position. So it is an opportunity to explain North Korea's own, position and why North Korea's offers on the table were reasonable, although they were rejected by the United States. But the truth lies closer to the explanations rendered by U.S. President Donald Trump at the press conference, because North Korea may argue that we only requested a partial lift of economic sanctions, only 5 out of 11 existing sanctions on North Korea, and only the clauses related to livelihood of North Korean people. But those 5 economic sanctions constitute the core of existing economic sanctions on North Korea because they are the blanket sanctions on entire North Korean economy and prohibits export of North Korea with five major items. So imagine that you cannot really say that, well, I would request only 5 organs from your body, your brain, your heart, your liver, stomach, and your right arm. Then you will remain the whole body still. So, and the return provided by North Korea was only Yongbyon nuclear site, not the entire inspections of the potentially hidden areas, or the missile intercontinental ballistic missiles. Remember, 2 out of those 5 UN Security Council resolutions regard North Korea's missile test, not nuclear test. But North Koreans had no intentions to offer anything related to intercontinental ballistic missiles. So Trump administration found North Korea's offer difficult to accept.
All right. So did this come as a surprise to you, though? Because although many of us didn't really expect a breakthrough, we did expect some kind of a deal to come between the two leaders.
Right. But I like to remain positive, just like the KCNA report. At least both sides now clearly understand where they are standing. In order for North Korea to persuade Trump administration about any kind of sanction relief, North Korea has to offer far more than just Yongbyon.
Right.
It should be beyond Yongbyon, including verification. For the United States, the first thing to achieve is to persuade the Kim Jong-un leadership to have a clear and official definition of denuclearization, not in a vague words. And one thing that has been made very clear to the United States is sanctions are working.
Okay.
So it'll be very difficult to persuade the Trump administrations to ease economic sanctions on North Korea, because now it's apparent that they are the most potent weapons against North Korea.
Now then, what does this whole collapse of the Hanoi summit put South Korea's position in? I mean, how would this affect the ongoing peace process and plans and efforts by President Moon Jae-in?
Right. Those ambitious plans were just announced in celebration of the centennial commemoration of March 1st movement by President Moon Jae-in. I'd like to highlight two things. One, South Korean government should be really careful in promoting and pushing into Korean economic projects, because doing so would be in violation of existing economic sanction regime on North Korea. But at the same time, South Korean government can be an effective mediator between the United States and North Korea, because both sides still want to maintain dialogue and negotiations. What South Korean government can do in particular is to persuade North Korea to carry out verifiable and concrete steps toward denuclearization. Doing so would enhance the credibility of Kim Jong-un leadership and its commitment to denuclearization in the eyes of the Trump administration for the remaining 2 years of the Trump administration's time. So time does not favor North Korea, which enhances the role of South Korea as a mediator between the United States and North Korea.
So could we see Kim and Trump meet anytime soon again? And what could be in the works between the two sides?
That will be very difficult because from the standpoint of the United States, President of the United States met the leader of North Korea not just once but twice. Right? So United States has given enough chances to North Korea, but the second summit meeting ended with no agreement. But working level meetings can be, continuing, and that is a good thing, because one of the reasons why the Hanoi summit meeting collapsed is that the preparations were not sufficient on both sides.
Okay.
So working level negotiations can be and must be continuing.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight today.
You're welcome.